Hey everyone, this is Linda Johnson, certified Cicerone from BrewNymph.com, here with a playoff weekend edition of Let's Get a Beer, Florida. Weekend of January 13th and week of January 15th coming at ya. Happy divisional round weekend. Like last week, if you're in the Jacksonville area, it's all about the Jacksonville Jaguars, who walked away with a win last week at Everbank Field. This week we're talking more football, Florida brewery news, and more about upcoming beer fests, because Florida Beer Fest season is here. I'm coming at you this week from Southern Swells Brewing in Jacksonville Beach, where they just tapped another new beer. That would be this one, the Cup of Oats Pale Ale with El Dorado. Now this is a smash beer, single malt, single hop, and they brewed it with oats, and it's hopped only with El Dorado. It's described as vibrant, hazy, juicy, and tropical, and yes, I've had it, and it is all of those. So you'll definitely get the tropical fruity notes when you get it up to your nose on the aroma, and the flavor carries through the same way. Before we get into Jaguars watch parties on Sunday and running down events and things like that, I want to mention that I have Peace, Love, Pints koozies available for sale. So grab some of these, and you can even get a free one if you buy one of my shirts online. So check out BrewNymph.com. I've got info on there about all of that. Last week, the Jaguars wild card game at Everbank Field. Was that fun or what? And the Jaguars walked away with a win over the Bills to advance, going to Pittsburgh this weekend for the divisional round. The tailgate with Bold City Brigade was pretty epic. Had a great time out there. If you saw any of the video or any of the pictures, you probably gathered that it was a real good party. So we'll be looking at some local area watch parties on Sunday where you can get some deals on some food and beer. You can watch it almost anywhere that's got a TV, but if you're looking for some discounts and things, I've got those on the Tap This page on BrewNymph.com. So take a look at that. All right, we're going to start off. We've got some segments here, and we're going to start off with news. So a few news stories on BrewNymph.com this week, and some breweries making some news. We've got Funky Buddha Brewery out of Oakland Park in South Florida announced its 2018 distribution schedule with new product, new packaging, and new cans. Changes in the distribution calendar, some new beers coming on the core. So I have an article on BrewNymph.com about that. Be sure to check that out and get funky. Also, Riverside Craft Beer Fest. I know this is a ways off. This is February 24th in Jacksonville, but I wrote a preview story about this on BrewNymph.com the other day, and there are a few changes to this fest coming this year. And also, the article takes a look at what they use the money for. And I did an interview with Chris Croft, the fest chairman, who gave me some great insight and great information about the background of Riverside Craft Beer Fest. Tickets are on sale for that now, and again, it'll be February 24th. Thanks again to Chris for that great information. Lots of good stuff there. Be sure to check out the story. Also, Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp announced just the other day that the second Shrimp and Suds Fest is coming back to the baseball grounds this year. It'll be on March the 10th. Last year was the first one. I wrote a story about that last year. Take a look at that. It's on the deck of the stadium. They'll have some concessions with the ballpark food. They'll have craft breweries from all over and featuring the local Jacksonville area ones. So take a look at that story on BrewNymph.com. More news. This coming out of South Florida again. Due South Brewing in Boynton Beach opened up its brand new tap room in the warehouse this week. Now, they acquired that space well over a year ago, and they've been renovating it and redoing the inside, and it's bigger, it's got new features. and they worked on the renovations and the build out. If any of you guys are going to Trench Day on January 20th, which is next Saturday, you'll see a larger climate controlled space in addition to the beer garden. The beer garden is still there. So I'm looking forward to getting down to Due South Brewing next time I get down there and checking that all out. So those are some of your news. We have a special feature, and yes, it is Beer Fest season in Florida. So let's run them down. I wrote a preview story mostly about the January events on BrewNymph.com a couple weeks ago, so take a look at that. And these events are on the Beer Sphere page on my website, so take a look at that. Tickets are selling. Some of them are getting ready to sell out. Some of them will sell out, and it's going to be here before you know it. So avoid that I told you so kind of thing, okay? Look at the site, get the info, get your tickets, and don't miss out on this. So as we mentioned, we're going to run down some of these beer fests, January and February. I've got even more on BrewNymph.com. Maple Bacon Coffee Porter Fest. I don't know, can you see it in the light? Coming at you January 13th down at Funky Buddha. Now, I opened up this bottle and drank this last night, and the maple character was surprisingly still strong in this bottle. So great bottle. I have one more, and I'll be doing a side-by-side comparison with my second bottle and the 2018 Maple Bacon Coffee Porter. Those will go into limited distribution after the fest, by the way, so you should be able to find some around. All right, I already mentioned a little bit, Trench Day down at Due South Brewing in Boynton Beach. This will be on January 20th. And this is a cozy fest. It's limited to 300 people. They'll be releasing Mariana Trench Imperial Stout this year in cans. And they're also releasing a Java version of that in cans. Now, if you saw this video a couple weeks ago, I still had my bottle of Mariana Trench from January 2017. I since opened it. It is very good. The cocoa character was still there along with the vanilla. Great Imperial Stout, one of my all-time favorites. And if you're around South Florida on the 20th or just looking for a beer trip, Beer Fest, check out Trench Day at Due South on the 20th. Couple more fests going on in January. South Florida, Miami Beer Festival at Marlins Park, more South Florida. And hey, South Florida, the end of January, usually a great time, great weather. Over on the other coast though, we do have St. Pete Beer and Bacon Fest, where they'll be preparing some chef-prepared dishes to go with beer. Over there at St. Pete, check that out. And winding down January, we've got Jupiter Craft Beer Fest at the Abacoa Town Center, Roger Dean Stadium in Jupiter. I've gone to this fest, oh gosh, I don't know how many years. This glass is actually from 2014 when I was there. And it's a great fest, very, very well attended. And trust me on this, it will sell out before the 27th. So get your tickets. And hey, beer trip, beer fest, you know, what can we say? I have a recap article from last year's fest on BrewNymph.com 2017. Check it out and see why you ought to go. The Field of Beers, by the way, the food and beer pairing that they do with the Jupiter Fest, that sold out within hours. So, like I said, the Jupiter Craft Brewers Fest on the 27th will sell out again. And hey, you know, it's a wild time in Abacoa. Take your golf clubs if you have time. Great golf course there. The Civil Society is right there. Das Biergarten is right there in the town center. Always a great time. All right, moving into February real quick because we'll be talking about these more. Intuition announced Underdark Day for February 3rd, releasing the Underdark bottles again with the fest. Central Florida Brewers Fest in Sanford, also February 3rd. DeLand Craft Beer Fest, February 10th. There's a recap on BrewNymph.com about this. This was a great fest last year. They changed the venue, much easier to move around, nice cozy atmosphere in downtown DeLand. If you don't know where that is, it's just west of Daytona and Volusia. Again, check it out. I've got information on BrewNymph.com. J-Dubs Brewing Dub Fest is their anniversary in Sarasota, February 10th. Brew Miami at FIU, February 10th. Wake Fest, J. Wakefield Anniversary Miami, February 17th. Florida Craft Brew and Wing Fest, Vero Beach, also February 17th. I've been at this one a number of times, a vendor and an attendee, and stories, recaps on BrewNymph.com. Check it out. Bonita Brew Fest over on the other side, Southwest Florida, February 17th. And Riverside Craft Brew Fest, already mentioned that, in Jacksonville, February 24th. Then we head into March, a lot going on in March, and I already have a lot of those on the calendar, so take a look and don't miss out. We do have a calendar of events. As you might know, I have 2 pages of events on BrewNymph.com, and now we'll go into the Tap This page, which is a calendar of events mostly around Jacksonville, but I do include the other events as well, so that you can see everything on a monthly calendar and pretty much get prepared for whatever you're doing. So heads up on some in February. Atlantic Beach Brewing will be doing a new bottle release, a Red Velvet Imperial Stout, February 10th. There's a growler team relay, Wicked Barley to Zeta, on the February 17th. Running of the Bulls at Intuition 5K, February 18th. And now that's just a little bit of a look ahead. So let's take a look at this week's calendar, running through the week of January 15th, and some things that you need to watch out for, including some of these Jaguars watch parties around the Jacksonville area. All right, just gonna run through them real quick. They're all on the website, so here we go. First of all, let's mention Saturday. We've got New Smyrna Beach Brewing in New Smyrna with its anniversary party. I've been here a bunch of times, wrote about it shortly after they opened, and when they opened into their new location last year, right around the corner. So that's just about an hour and a half drive from here if you guys are around Daytona, Volusia area. New Smyrna Brewing, great guys there, some great beer, and really amazing new space there. Anniversary January 13th. Divisional playoffs start on Saturday the 13th. We've got a Veterans United 4K fun run on the 13th. And right next door to where I'm at right now at Southern Swells is Mini Bar Donuts, which will be opening in Jacks Beach on January 13th. That's Saturday. It will be serving donuts, obviously, coffee, and there will be craft beer at the place as well. You may have seen them with the donuts. They've done some events around the area as they get ready to open. So that's happening Saturday the 13th. Grand opening, Matthews Brewing Company down in Lake Worth in the West Palm area. They opened in December. Grand opening on Saturday, January 13th. Timed tappings. They're buying you the second beer till 5 o'clock. And they do with cask ales there, and lots of good place. I haven't been there yet, but I do know the owner and the brewer, and some great guys, and looking forward to getting down there whenever I make it there. Also, another brewery I've been to a bunch of times, Tequesta Brewing in Tequesta, with its 7th anniversary on January 13th. If you're down in the Jupiter area, always make a stop at Tequesta. Great spot. I can't believe that the first time I was there was years ago and it was still the corner bar. Yeah, that's been a while. First time since I was down there. And anytime I'm down in the Jupiter area, I always head over to Tequesta Brewing. Congratulations to you guys as well. Small batch Saturday night right here at Southern Swells on the 13th as well. Crooked Can Pint Night at Dahlia's on the 13th. We've got trivia, we've got some food items, more events going on. Again, these are just some highlights. So now let's get into Sunday, January 14th, more divisional playoffs and these Jaguars watch parties. Real quick, we're gonna run them down. Complimentary local beer with food at Moxie Kitchen in Jacks. Watch party at Garage over at Riverside. Playoff potluck and watch party at Hyperion. Cookout and $1 off beers at Main and 6. Watch party at Fionn McCool's, who, by the way, is opening a new place in Nocatee. That'll be in February. Watch party at Grape and Grain Exchange in Jacks. Crispy's over in Springfield. Watch party at Dahlia's in Jacks. Watch party at Brew's Atlantic Beach. A brunch and a Bourbon County tapping at halftime at Brew's in Bartram Park. This is all on Sunday, January 14th. $3 local beers at Hoptinger, Jacks Beach. and Jaguars game. Watch party at Wicked Barley. They'll be having some food specials as well. And we've got a watch party and complimentary brunch at Brick's Tap House at Jax Beach as well. And the game is 1:05 p.m. And I probably will be adding to this between now and then. So take a look, Jaguars watch party, or wherever you're going to be watching that game, have fun and go Jaguars, right? All right, moving into next week. We've got beer school at Alewife and Jax on Tuesday. She started up her beer school series again. Very worthwhile set of courses. If you haven't been to one of those, I do recommend it. Kelly does a great job there. Retro Game Tuesdays at Brews and Dogs. We've got some trivia and some other things going on Tuesday as well. Again, it's all on the website. Wednesday, we've got trivia, ladies' nights, pint nights. It's all on the calendar. I'm not going to run down each one, but I've got them on there, so take a look. Thursday, ladies' nights, trivia, all kinds of things going on around the Jax area. Bringing us into next weekend, Saturday, January 20th. Here's something we'll talk about a little more. Ellipsis Brewing in Orlando with its grand opening. I haven't been there, but I'm hearing some really good things, especially about their IPAs down there. So if you're in the Orlando area, might be worth a beer trip there. We've got St. Pete Beer and Bacon Fest. I mentioned that on the 20th. There's a mac and cheese cook-off at Brews. I mentioned the Due South Brewing Trench Day next Saturday the 20th, Miami Beer Festival. And we've got beer and food pairings at Atlantic Beach Brewing next Saturday the 20th. There are a couple of chili cook-offs around the Jax area later in January at Hyperion and at Green Room in Jax Beach. Take a look at the info on the website, sign up for those ahead of time. And pretty much that's it, guys. Have a great week. Go Jaguars. Enjoy the football. And we'll see you next week with another edition of Let's Get a Beer Florida. Have a great week, everybody. See you next week.